And I told her, what do you think I am, a typewriter?
Oh,
I gotta
episode 223.
I gotta
What's
close
up,
out
Mike?
I gotta close out all my porn here.
Your Pornhub? I think you closed yourself all the way out there. Oh, we did not get together last week. We had some stuff come up. That's what happens
They
once in
poisoned
a
me.
while. Oh, Joe poisoned you?
They took me to some nasty ass Italian restaurant. Had
Well,
some
but that's
nasty.
you and your wife's Italian restaurant.
That's yeah, and they couldn't even everything. What a fucking piece of shit day that was.
Oh, God, that was horrible. Food was bad.
I couldn't get rid of the headache, and fucking I felt sick when I got home. It was just bad. But
I was sitting here in the off air, like, do I go live all by myself and be boring, or I just postpone? So I just postponed. So that's all good.
You should.
I think some people didn't even get their books last week.
You could have stole the show last night, Bubba.
I could have stole the show, but I know, like Double S said last week, his books didn't even get in. So,
wow.
It was all good. Wasn't a whole lot going out that came out last week that was super exciting. I don't think.
Fuck you.
But
what?
Huh?
It's like you don't even read the books, Dave.
My pick of the week last Last Ronin, number 2.
I read that. That's right. I can't even remember what all came out last week. It's all sacked back there somewhere. What have I been doing the past week? I watched that movie Hard Rain. Came out like in 99 or 2000. Christian Slater, Morgan Freeman. It is about rain, yeah. I know. Rain and storms, where they're trying to rob the armored car. Yeah. Still haven't watched the latest episode of WandaVision yet. I'll probably watch that tonight.
Agatha
did it. All Agatha's fault.
I've had that.
I do want to give a shout out
all week long.
Give a shout out to my wife. We talked. We've been trying to save money for buying a house, buying some property. So we for Valentine's Day, we were kind of like, we're not going to spend a whole lot of money, And so I really wasn't putting a whole lot of thought into it. And then she gives me Lois Lane #1 for Valentine's Day. And I'm like, holy crap. And she had such an awesome way to give me this. It was very, very memorable. So that's all.
Hold on. This is a family show.
This is a family show, yeah. So that's all I'm going to say. But yeah, so she ended up getting me that. That's like one of the big key books. And I still have to get issues. I think Steve at Rogue City Comics has 1 through 20 or something like that's what he had. And so he's holding them for me. I'm going to start buying them. So I'll end up having a good chunk of my Lois Lane caught up. So definitely appreciate mighty LJ for getting that for Valentine's Day for me. I think that's all I've been doing, really. We finished up The Hobbit. I don't know. What have you been doing, Joe?
I finished up my project, and it will be premiering on my channel tomorrow night. I finally got all the editing and everything done for it. The Kniffy is finished. Hopefully I'll have it in the mailbox out to Discovery Bay, and then we start planning and designing tomorrow for the next project, which premiere, surprise, spoiler, it's going to be a set of Wolverine claws, and when I get done with them, we're going to be able to run them together and be able to start a fire with them. Hot claws.
We got to test that. We got to test that.
It's going to be fun.
Get some tinder.
I have something in my head, and it's and I've always found out that if I say I'm going to do it, then more than likely it will be better accomplished that way. So the goal is super sharp, and I have to be able to start a fire with them. I think that would be that's the 30-day challenge anyways. Let's see what happens. And they're going to go to Huey over here because they're his Wolverine claws were his recommendation. So,
are you going to be able to mail those though? Without getting
I can mail whatever I want. I got an FFL. You want ammunition? I can do whatever I want.
What about you, Mike? What have you been doing this past couple weeks besides getting migraines and eating shitty Italian sausage?
Nothing working. I did watch the first 2 episodes of The Rock's new show. That's on NBC Peacock.
Young Rock.
Young Rock. That's
Yeah.
pretty good. You guys need to check that out.
Sounds rock solid.
Yeah, I've been trying to knock out my Wolverine run because, you know, my wife inspired that, and I got a bunch yesterday from that, but I'll show those on my own video. Pretty much got all the keys for that now, except for when he first meets Deadpool, that one Jim Lee cover that they used for the X-Men game.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost orange yellowish, and the X-23 issue that isn't really a key.
It just shows the test tube with X-23 on it.
The test tube,
but
Larry Hama said that no, that has nothing to do with it, but still, it's still considered a key. Whatever. I'm not paying more than fucking.
It's a cameo.
$10.
That's what we
That's
see.
it's just a little squirt. That's all.
Yeah. A little skeet in the jug.
Well, I mean, look what Donny Cates has done though too with Null and when the Thor God of Thunder run. I mean, he did a lot of stuff. The Gore the God Butcher and stuff like that. That book's going crazy because Donny Cates said, "Oh, this guy's related to this stuff up here," and is it not the Ebony Blade, but it's some kind of sword or whatever it is that's referenced a lot in there. Double S says just a little prick. Okay, so let's get jumping into the books this week. Mike, you want to start us out? Let's get you up and lively, drink some coffee, do whatever you got to do.
You do realize I have to go to bed and fucking go to work. I ain't drinking no fucking coffee.
I know that's why we're trying to get you lively here. Give us something, Mike. Give us something to gnaw on, Mike. And I don't mean that in a dirty way.
Yum, yum, yum.
I'm gonna do this one in honor of Midwest Scotsman.
Why the Scotsman? Oh, Splash Page is in here. I haven't seen Splash Page in forever. I think last time I physically saw him was at C2E2, like 2 years ago. Go ahead, Mike. What you got for us?
So I made the mistake of picking up Marvel Voices Legacy #1.
Oh.
I like most of the characters that were featured on the cover. Blade, Miles Morales, Ironheart. I got this Captain Marvel cover. But this book's a piece of fucking shit. The Miles Morales story, you know, one of the hottest characters in comics right now, is only on 3 pages, and that's crap. And the Ironheart story, she's taking on a bunch of rollerblading nobodies, and then she realizes she's late to hang out with her friends. There's a story about the Avengers at the supermarket. And there's a Domino story. That one was pretty good, halfway decent. But this book is a blast. Fuck Marvel and their fucking bullshit.
Isn't that supposed to be like women's or female voices? Is that what it's supposed to be? Or
I think because of February, it's geared.
Well, there's a Blade story.
That's why I was confused, because I thought it was more like focusing on the female superheroes. Why is Blade in there?
Yeah, I think it's African History
I don't
Month.
think it was just
Black History Month. February.
I thought it was just characters with different ethnicities. Is it? Am I saying? Like
yeah, you're saying. I think you got it right.
Yeah, so. Because Kamala Khan's in this it's crap. It's a blast.
See, I knew that coming into this week, so I did not pick that book up. I didn't even bother. Joe, did you bother picking that book up this week?
I gave it a shot.
I bought it, but I feel that it's such a high value book. I immediately sent it off to CGC. because of its worth and its cultural reference for today's environment.
You know that stuff Joey's going to set on fire with Wolverine claws? It's going to be this book.
Is it going to be that one?
I don't think you're allowed to do that anymore, Mikey.
Okay, I'm going to talk about. I think I read mostly indie books this week. Almost all indie books for me. I have a few DC. Me? I'm talking about By the Horns.
Which one are you talking?
By the Horns. Scout Comics. Did you pick up this book, Mike?
I might have it coming. I'm not sure. You know what I didn't pick up either? Nuclear Family. I didn't pick that up.
Oh, I'll talk about that. That's a good book. This one here, this is about this main character, Ellie. She's like a monster hunter, and that's what she does. She goes out and kills these monsters and brings their heads in, and they make soup out of them, right? And so, but that's like her only thing she's been doing, and the community is all pissed off at her because, like, we have tons of monster head soup. We have enough to last 2 years. We don't need you to doing that. We need you here helping the community out. I'm like, dude, she's fucking helping the community out. She's bringing stuff in for monster head soup, and they're getting ready to exile her because she's not helping the community. Yes, Mike.
What does monster head soup taste like?
I don't know. Probably like that crappy Italian you ate. But she ends up getting banished.
Monster Head?
Dude, Monster Head's great, especially when I don't have to ask for it. Never mind. This is going off the deep end. So she gets banished, and so she's going to go find her way, thinking, she's pissed off that they kick her out of the community for not helping, even though. Oh my God, we're really hitting back on that. Double S. Characters with animal fetishes, like Huey killing raccoons, that has not been brought up in forever.
Yeah, we should. We need to start addressing that again.
Thank you, Double S, for being such a long-term watcher that you know what that is. So any of these new people have no clue to what that reference is, and I'm just going to leave it that way. All these
new people that just came rushing in after the raccoon checks.
Yeah. So By the Horns, it's a blast for me. It's just not doing it for me. Animal fetishes aside. So, Joe, did you read By the Horns?
No.
I thought it was going to be an adult themed book, kind of by the horns like that. But
by the horns.
What about you, Joe? What do you got?
Let's. So 2 Blast. So I got to come up with something good, right? Is that?
Yeah, I hope so.
Do this now? Okay, let's talk about Suicide Squad. I know Mikey read this. So this was kind of cool. This was fun. I like this different take of a suicide team that was in here. They're very different, but kind of the same circumstance. We find out Amanda Waller is from this particular Earth, and again they get kind of convoluted and kind of confusing with the whole time thing here and what world's what. So we don't really catch it, but unusual. It's usually a Amanda Waller turnaround and really doing the bad thing for a good reason. Haha, surprise everybody. And Jonathan Connor is now Superman on this particular planet, and it's already kind of protected, I guess. I don't really care. The action in here was awesome. The banter going back and forth was fun. And the secondary story with Black Adam, that was weird. Okay. You definitely need a little bit more context for that story to make sense. But I still liked it. Like, it had some funny moments in it. So for all in all, this is we have a thing for this. You ready?
Oh yeah, hold on a sec here. I gotta find it.
Yeah. It's slightly better than a whiskey dick. It's like a gin dick, I think is what we'll call it. Where it's like kind of like gin just hey, I'm still here. Oh, I need to take a nap. Yeah, that's what it does. All right, so all in all, not bad.
Mikey, what do you think of Suicide Squad? We know everybody knows that you're a Suicide Squad junkie. Did it fit your fix?
Yeah. It was decent. There was some brain bombs being lit off in this one. They're blowing fun, but yeah, it's good. Can't wait for the new series starting up. in a month or so. Is it? I don't know. I don't know when it comes out. But the Black Adam story. What the fuck are you doing?
No, he's got beer caps in his eyeballs.
Your mama said you go blind doing that. But yeah, it's a stash.
Do you think they have Peacekeeper in here? Because I don't know if any of the other characters are actually in this new Suicide Squad movie that's coming out next year or something like that. But I know Peacekeeper is kind of a prominent character in this new movie. Do you think that's why he's in there? Probably just to promote that character,
Definitely,
so people kind of know who he is.
Definitely. No doubt. No doubt whatsoever.
Absolutely.
Because if you think about it, the only other way you're going to make him relevant, other than the movie, is you got to go all the way back to the. I think I have like 2 things from the Golden Age with him in it, and I know he was kind of around in the Silver Age. I don't know if he was in Bronze and Copper. I know he wasn't around in the 80s, so I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely see that more and more, that they'll put a character in just to kind of help, promote the movie that's coming out just a little bit more. So,
real quick, let's hit up the chat real quick before we get too far. Double S says he wants to set Mike's Bueller on fire. We can do that. That's not a problem. Let's see. Splash Page jumps in. Oh, Double S also says Donny Cates is going to end his Venom run in April and is going to work with Todd McFarlane on the Spawn universe. I'm kind of excited about the Spawn universe. Like, I've always had a hard time getting into Spawn. Like I'll read a couple issues of it, and then I'm just like, I don't care. It's the same story over and over again. So, yeah. So I'm kind of cool about that. Let's see here. Bruce comes in. Bruce, we haven't seen you, Bruce. What's going on, buddy? So we got Splash Page. I come in a lot. I just come in and enjoy the show, and of course, there's other comments as well. So good. Hey, it's good to have all of you here. Definitely tell us what you picked up this week, and more importantly, tell us what you thought about it. Sorry. Who's next?
Yep. Definitely tell us what you thought. I do want to do a quick shout out here. So I'm going to start doing a weekly giveaway, and it is brought to you by Rogue City Comics. So I got a whole bunch of books. They got a whole big collection there. Mike's in there somewhere back there, hiding behind the Rogue City Comics shield. But I ended up buying a short box of 90s independents over that. So it's not like super great key books, but I definitely want to give some away. Maybe you don't have them in collection. Maybe you still do. Who knows? But what we're going to do is we're going to end up... No Spawn books. Nope. There's some Image. There's definitely some Image. Some early Image when they first went over and started that company. So a lot of that 90s stuff that's, a lot of copies out there. But, I'll end up giving 10, 15 books away. So anybody in the live chat, we'll end up throwing your name into a giveaway thing, and we'll ship some books out to you. Some really cool. Let me grab one indie book out of here. Some Savage Dragon. You like some Savage Dragon, don't you, Mike?
I do. Actually,
he likes it savage. He likes Savage Anaconda.
Low number Savage Dragons or high number Savage Dragons?
So there's Prophet number 1. So
with millions.
So yeah, I definitely got some 90s book, nothing like big keys or any of that, but some free books.
Some of that so we're gonna fun. Like it's a lot of that's just fun storytelling where they just kind of just went crazy with stories. There's nothing wrong with the stuff, no doubt. But yeah.
Which reminds me of a book that came out last week, that X-Men book that came out last week. That reminded me. Did you read X-Men Legends last week?
Yes,
yeah,
definitely.
Joe?
It was awesome.
It was 90s to the wall. I mean, that's what I felt the whole time reading that. The art, the dialogue, everything reminded me of the 90s. There's like Stuffed number 1, by Image. So there's some stuff, some stuff. Who they got in the chat there? What they got saying? I could have saved a few dollars by not picking up Suicide Squad this week. Maybe if they would have drawn Peacemaker like John Cena, it would have been interesting. Yeah, I looked at it. He looked kind of anemic there, didn't he?
I know what he looks like because you can't see him.
Oh, you can't see him. Oh my goodness, nice wrestling reference there. Mike Yarp, what do you got for us?
Well, since we're talking about them Savage Dragons, are they high number Savage Dragons or low number?
They're low number Savage Dragons.
I don't need them then.
Oh, sorry.
Kindness. What'd you read this week there, Mikey?
Spawn 315.
What'd you think about
I'm
it?
not reading Spawn right now. You guys should, because it's fucking amazing. This one, it's a little dialogue. You get medieval Spawn versus Omega Spawn. Then old normal Al Simmons Spawn jumps in, and then the Monolith Spawn jumps in, and we get the first appearance of what the fuck is that thing called? The Parasite Spawn.
I don't know. I'm not reading Spawn.
I'm going to go with Parasite Spawn on this. No, we don't know. You're telling us.
I don't know. He was on a cover not too long ago, and then this is but the art by Carlo. Yeah, no, that's number one, right?
Yeah. Sorry, Mike. I interrupted you.
We got Carlo Barberi, pretty good artist. So, and I'm pretty excited for McFarlane creating this world of whatever he plans on doing. So,
Everybody's got a universe.
They do.
Bruce Zaya said Savage Dragon is cool. So back in the day when I was reading Amazing Spider-Man, big fan of Spider-Man, Eric Larson was drawing. He was the artist on Amazing, and that's why I first fell in love with him. And then he jumped on to Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man for a little bit there. I think. I could be wrong. Didn't he? I don't know. But then they all went to Image, and Savage Dragon was awesome. So still going on to this day, just like Spawn. But I haven't been reading it.
The other thing I want to talk about too, I forgot at the beginning of the show, I've been listening to a new audiobook called True Believer, The Rise and Fall of Stan Lee. I don't know if anybody's read that book or listened to that book. Definitely a different take on Stan Lee, you know, because there have been stories out there that Stan Lee didn't actually create all these characters, right? And it was more of the artist that came up with the ideas and the plots and the stories and the dialogue, and where Stan Lee is kind of taking credit for it. This is a no holds barred. You almost think like Stan Lee is a total prick throughout this whole thing, and I'm only like a couple hours into it, so kind of interesting. I'm going to go and talk about my pick of the week. From Aftershock Comics, the next Nuclear Family. Did you read this one, Joe?
I did.
Ah, good. So
I'm not going to say it's my pick of the week, but it's good.
I'm a big fan of alternate history. You know, so that's always been a cool thing for me. So it's like 1950s. Two used car salesmen, Dan and Tim, they're talking. And they're embellishing like the one guy's time in the service, like he got this knee injury and just so he could sell a car because the other guy was a vet too. And they got like, what'd you do that for? I wasn't in any combat. Oh no, do sympathy, man. But he ended up selling the car. They ended up going home, and they ended up nuclear bombs. They ended up hitting. I think it's nuclear bombs. Ended up hitting on the U.S. soil. And as the family's coming out of their basement, they're surrounded by, I'm not sure if it doesn't show if they're Germans. Kind of like they're Germans. Maybe they're U.S. soldiers. I can't quite tell from this. Joe, you might be able to know.
Because they said, freeze, commie.
Yeah, not enough step commie.
Right.
So it has that cool history, but an alternate universe kind of stuff. And I really, really dig that. And I really love the guide at the end of the book, The True American's Guide to Communism, and how to spot a commie. Is my neighbor a commie? So this was really good. I really enjoyed this book. It didn't really go into a whole lot of story into it, so you don't know really a whole lot that's going on. But I think it has enough just because that piques my interest of the historic aspect of it. So what about you, Joe?
So yeah, I love this. Little secret squirrel fact that most people don't know. I used to be a DJ in my high school at a channel called WFOS. And what me and the other DJs would do is, because it was a radio station, that means they had a tower. So we set up a ham radio operation there. and we would do ham radio. I know my Morse code. I'm Coast Guard certified in Morse code and all that. Like we were really into it, just talking to people around the world, chit chat. And this was like a popular thing to do in the 60s because this was equipment that you could buy. It was high-end equipment. Put it in your garage. You could work on it. You can kind of tinker with it and adjust the megahertz and stuff you were doing in it. So, yeah, of course, I'm very much attached to this story. And it also plays off a very popular conspiracy theory about Sputnik being a Russian satellite that was sending signals to people in the U.S. that would pick up the thing, right? That was a whole conspiracy thing. If you hadn't figured out yet, the guy with the ham radio set, that's the reason why those bombs were dropped there. Because if you read, it ticked down and it was a timer. So I don't know if I just spoiled that for you, but I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
So bombs hit, everything's going to crap, and it's probably this guy's fault. Whatever. We're going to find out, and I'm sure it's going to be very interesting. So I like this kind of storytelling where they kind of take Americana 1967, I think is when this took place, when you could accuse somebody of being a commie and probably be right, much like you can. Never mind. We were that close. But anyway. Well, you can do similar things today. But yeah, I really like this. It's fun. I love the artwork in it too. I think it's fitting for this kind of story. It just makes sense. I loved it. It was a stash for me.
I'm trying to remember what Stephanie Phillips. She's done something else. I can't remember what it was. Let's see here. Oh, Butcher of Paris.
Yeah, Butcher of Paris was about 3 issues in. It was good, and then after that, it just kind of died off. I hope this doesn't do that.
Descendant, Artemis, the assassin at Red Atlantis. So, yeah, she's been around. I think I've read a few other stories. So, yeah, definitely a stash. Let's jump into Mike before we jump into the next book. What do you got for us here, Mike? Let's see here. What was it?
Ooh la la.
Whoosh. Mike, what do you got for your meat and potato pick this week?
Ooh la la.
So,
Ooh la la.
this is my meat and potato pick from last week, since we didn't have a show, and I already got notes on it and everything. And it will also be my review for this book as well. So I kickstarted Jamie Tyndall's Miss Meow #1. So
oh wow,
right there,
I like that cover.
You got
hold on a sec, Mike, let me make you bigger. Oh, there we go. We like Mike bigger.
There you go. All kinds of pussycats. And it's signed by, I'm assuming one of them is Ash Maddie, which is the artist for this cover. And that character on there is called Catfight. That's her name. And there's another cover that's done by Jamie Tyndall. And this one, that's Miss Meow right there. So awesome stuff. The books are cheesy as fuck. Basically, what happens is mercenaries around the world are being honored at the Merc Gala. There's a mercenary named Death Rage and his daughter Death Spawn, which is another character Jamie's coming out with later this year. But long story short, a fight breaks out. It's campy. It's sexy. I loved it. So Miss Meow, she's got the cheesiest fucking powers. She basically has the powers of catnip. And she has 2 bodyguards that are with her at all times, Miss Kit and Miss Cat. And she has she has fucking laser pointers on her fingers. So if she shoots the laser pointers at like the bad guy, these 2 bodyguards will attack. Her her arch nemesis is the one I showed, Catfight, who helped her design this catnip program. Like I said, campy and cheesy, but goddamn right up Grandpa's alley. So
I like the bathtub one. I like that one far better than the new one.
Grenade in the bathtub one. Is the grenade floating?
that grenade is floating.
Oh. Okay.
And I think the cat's trying to play with it.
Yeah.
It's one of those Nerf grenades, probably. You know. What was Nerf's tagline? This Nerf or nothing. There we go. Okay, Joe. What do you got for our next book?
I didn't pick up a whole lot of Marvel this week, so let's talk about DC. So I picked up Superman and Imperial Lex, and I don't know, like a lot of people have been talking shit about this, but I'm gonna be honest with you, this is a good story and it's classic storytelling. And this, you got, Superman came in and destroyed an entire world's means of production and making money, destroyed it. And so now it forces Lex into joining this UN group where the object of means is everybody's benefit. So meaning you do something that becomes everybody's benefit, finds out he's sitting on a bunch of crystals that all these other planets need for energy. And he's like, yeah, I don't want to join the UN now. The United Planet. I don't want to do it anymore. So he backs out of the deal. A lot of action in this, a lot of fun stuff. But overall, and it's not the philosophical point this week, but overall in this, it is if you like that, if you liked Civil War, the movie, right, where Captain America and Tony Stark are going at it, right? That's a classic argument of deontology and utilitarianism. If you want a more simplistic view of that, Imperial Lex, Superman and Imperial Lex is a good example of this. Because ultimately, yes, we can look at Lex Luthor for being the bad guy in it, but he's stealing from planets that aren't allowed to join the UN's little group. So really, what's the thing here? It's interesting. So definitely, I've been picking this up. I'll probably finish this up, and it should be all right. I like it.
Mike, did you pick up that one this week?
No. Bruce
I didn't get that one either.
Bruce said, I am months behind on books. What's a story to start to get back into the loop? Well, over in Marvel, you're about halfway through the King in Black stuff. So I don't know if you would want to wait till that's over.
I would say over at DC, pick up that Dark Detective.
Yeah, that's been good. Go ahead, Mike.
Or the Future State stuff is just about to end, and we're starting kind of fresh back with all the DC books starting next month or next week, I think. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely hard with both the big two, with the big events going on, and it's gonna be hard, I think, to jump into DC after. And not, I mean, shit, I'm reading this Future State stuff, and I'm lost on half of it. So I may be lost when the new stuff comes out. So, I mean, just like I read part of this Generations Forged here, right? This seems a lot like Crisis on Infinite Earth, how they're taking a different.
Well, did you read the first one?
Did they start this story earlier last year?
No, that happened right before Future State.
Did
it?
Yeah,
that Generations.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I did read this. All right, or at least the beginning of it, because it seemed so familiar to me. Like I felt like I was guessing.
Explained to me by someone at my LCS was, so you got the first one of that book, right, and then you got all the Future State stuff that's happening. Then you got that book. So those two books and the bookends are what's going on in our universe while all this Future State stuff is. I don't fucking know. I'm so over Future.
Yeah, I just decided to start reading the first story, but this was good. Who's reviewing this? Was that you?
Me, I only read through a little bit of it before the show tonight because I didn't get a chance to read it prior. Like I said, I'm really lost on some of the stuff with the future state. And like what Mike is saying, I don't think I read that first Generations book, so I was really lost going into this. I'm like, whoa, where are these characters?
I remember
so,
now. I read it and I really enjoyed this. This was great. It's sad. This is sad. This is about a sad old man that just wants to hang out with his kids, and superheroes had to come in and screw all that up.
Because that was Lex Luthor, right?
No.
Who was that?
It's
Lex
Dumamis.
Luthor.
No.
Is it? Who is that? Who's the bald dude?
They call him by name in here. It's Dumamis.
Dominus? Is that Dominus? Yeah. Oh, okay.
Dominus.
Well, say fuck, I'm totally lost.
He's a DC villain. He wasn't as powerful.
He was an old Superman villain, wasn't
he? Justice League overall. He would like bring like warriors in from time and stuff like that to fight like them and yeah. Or at least in earlier renderings of it. But yeah.
I haven't read this one yet. But yeah, this is what in the first one, Commandy was going through time because he had Booster Gold's thingamajig, and he was recruiting.
He had teeth stuck to his arm and made a
like heroes like Batman, earliest Batman, because he's got the purple gloves.
Right, and they got thrown through time and got dropped off in different places. Yeah, so yeah, this was where it picks it up, and then they kind of meet all back up to go fight. And yeah, and then come to find out, it's just this guy. He just wants to spend his last few minutes or spend some time with his family, and he had to kind of screw up time to do it. And then they all came and stopped it because superheroes. So yeah, it can be confusing.
I just got like a vibe of Christ on Infinite Earth with the different characters from different Earths and stuff like that. I mean, and so. I need to go back and read that first Generations book probably to get a better understanding of what's going on with this book for sure.
Real quick, Double S as Imperial Lex was a good read for me as well. Just curious, Joey, what side were you on Captain America Civil War movie? Okay, so it's never one or the other for me, but if I had to lean, I'm more of a on the side of deontology, which would make me more Kantian belief. So Captain America, I believe in the self versus the group. Real quick, I'm interested in the new DC Omniverse books. Yeah, they'd be great. All the old continuity is coming back. What have been waiting for 10 years since Flashpoint. You're not the first person I've heard that from, surprisingly. But yeah, this was a stash for me too, and now I got to go back and find the other one, so I make sure I got it right.
Let's go ahead and jump into, since you kind of hinted on it there a little bit. You went on a little bit of a philosophy thing there, so let's go ahead and do this. Comic book philosophy with Locan.
All right, guys, we're going to put this one down real simple. We're going to talk about Immanuel Kant. Now, that's C-A-N-T. Don't get too wise with that.
Man, yeah, I'm glad you cleared that up because I was like, whoa, Joe's going deep here.
Immanuel Kant is so important to philosophy that when we talk about utilitarianism and deontology, it's often referred to as utilitarianism and Kantism. Kantism is nothing more than moral absolute. All right, so are there rules out there that are just morally you can't break no matter what? Mind you, that means they can't have what is known as a catcher's paribus to it. So just real quick, let's go over what that is just so you kind of get the understanding of how deep we're going here. Speeding is against the law, right? If you speed, you're in trouble, and you should be convicted of that crime. What if your wife's in labor in the back seat, right? So there's the catcher's paribus, right? Meaning outside of the norm, there should be circumstances where you're allowed to break certain rules. So where does absolute or moral absolution come in? Moral absolution comes in that, well, there's no catcher's paribus to it. There are moral laws that we should live by that have no catcher paribus to it whatsoever. You must follow the law. Kant believed in this. Like he's like, no, there are some. And it's super simple. And we're going to break it down. And then we're going to make it relevant to comic books real quick. What Kant said is that our moral responsibility is our actions to duty. I said duty. No,
Duty.
seriously, our actions to duty, right? So meaning that there are certain things that we should have to follow. And his belief was that we have the moral, absolute responsibility to always be rational in our thinking and rational in our actions, regardless of the circumstances that surround us. So how does this relate to comic books? Well, I did a little digging on this one to find the one character throughout the ages that has changed the least, because that would be his duty to whatever that superhero or villainy thing could be. I can actually only find one. Now, by all means, do your homework and take a look for yourself. But I think Spectre is probably the most perfect example of a moral absolutionist, because his job is to balance the scales. And throughout his comic book lore, sometimes he had to do bad things, sometimes he had to do good things, but it was all rationally done because remember who his ultimate boss is, right? It's, the big G God, like the God, right? He's the right hand of God to keep the balance of scales. So I couldn't think of a more perfect example. If you had to think about somebody, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whatever those terms mean, to think rationally and to be duty bound doesn't always mean that you're going to do the good thing. And it doesn't mean that you always have to do the bad thing. It just means you have to do the thing that you are set for in your duty. And that is my philosophical corner for a second.
Thank you, Joe. You like that new intro? I think I need to up the volume on the voice just a little bit, though.
Yeah, I couldn't hear. What was it saying?
It says comic book philosophy with Pocan.
With Pocan. So definitely, what do you all think about that? Let us know if you're enjoying these little segments. If you're not, we can always come up with something else. But yeah, Spectre. Spectre's good stuff. I like Spectre.
Mike, you awake? Or did that put you asleep?
My can't stay awake longer than 2 seconds.
What's going on? Is he done?
He's done. Are you talking about a book, Mike?
We're still doing that?
Yeah, we're still doing that. We still got another 15 minutes before we start doing lightning round. So stay awake for another 15, 20 minutes, Mike, and you should be good to go.
All right. We're going to talk about Stray Dogs #1. So in this one, they said it on the back. If you read the back, it's kind of like The Secret Life of Pets meets a horror movie. Hey, buddy, I'm a big fan of dogs. Joey knows this. I love my dog more than probably anybody I know. But anyway, so right at the beginning, the owner is taking her dog Sophie to the vet, and basically the vet is talking to her about how dogs have pretty shitty short-term memory. They could only remember so far back, whatever. But all of a sudden, it changes to where Sophie is being dropped off in a house full of dogs that this one dude lives in. Well, Sophie starts having flashbacks of this dude, and it ends up she remembers that this dude is the one who killed her owner. And all the dogs are talking, amongst themselves, and it's pretty fun. I thought it was good. I'm stashing it. Probably my pick of the week. And the art is just like some old Disney. If you watch 101 Dalmatians or Lady and the Tramp, the art style's just like that. So, yeah, check it out. It's sleeper. And I like these horror movie homage covers they're doing from this one. I didn't get it, though. It was a Silence of the Lambs homage cover. I think issue 2 is going to be a Pet Cemetery one. So,
who's the publisher on that?
Image.
Oh, it is Image. Okay. Yeah, I saw it at the comic store. I didn't bother picking it up though. Oh,
But you'll pick up a
have you
goddamn My Little Pony book.
Yeah, you're right. Did anybody seen that the trailer to the new Cruella movie coming out
Yep.
with Emily Blunt?
Yeah.
And not Emily Blunt. Who's the one playing Cruella? It's
Stone? No.
Emma
yeah, Emma Stone. Yeah,
That's
Emma
it.
Stone.
Yeah.
Yeah. She has a pretty good laugh, though. I thought it was good. I'm gonna talk
How about that Mortal Kombat trailer?
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
What?
Fuck you. Fuck you.
I'll take Cruella over Mortal Kombat.
But are you kidding? Like, you're just trying to be different,
Hey.
aren't you?
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm
does
trying
your
to be
wife
You're
different.
just trying to be a
Like
cunt,
vagina?
aren't you?
What is that?
Let's talk about Batman Black and White number 3. I know, Mike, you picked it up. I know in your channel you said you only picked it up for the cover, though, right? Mainly.
Is it their first appearance?
There is a first appearance, yeah. So, well, I don't know about first appearance. First appearance may be in costume, and that is Fox's little sister, right?
Okay.
She shows up and kind of kicks ass. The only problem I have with that first one, like, because he's getting the crap kicked out of him by a whole bunch of rednecks, and he's getting bashed in the face with a crowbar. It's like, dude, there's no way somebody's going to be surviving getting smashed in the face with a crowbar. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, Batman survived having his back broken.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. But
I think a couple times.
Couple of times.
That first story probably was the best one out of all of them, though. I like the dynamics of the brother and sister fighting with each other, but yet she doesn't want to let their parents know that she's doing it, and so she's worried their parents are going to get mad at her. Kelly Jones had a, everybody remember Kelly Jones from his run on Batman? The really tall-eared Batman, like in the 90s.
Oh, my God. Nightfall?
Yeah. So he had his segment in here, and that art is so hard to read for me. It is so dark. I'm not a huge Kelly Jones fan anyhow, so it really took me out of that one completely.
I think Jeremy was a big Kelly Jones fan.
Maybe.
No, I'm kidding. He hated that shit.
Oh, did he? These Batman Black and White are hit and miss, really. I mean, maybe they'll have one good story out of all, at least in my opinion, one good story out of all the 4 stories in the book.
They do that with all those multiple story books. Like, there's like a couple in there. It's like, oh, well, you got to talk good about that one because it's kind of nostalgic. And then the rest of them are kind of like,
Yeah. And that's how it is with me. I mean, it's just Batman. That's why I'm picking it up. But that Poison Ivy cover is pretty badass. I like that. So it's a Whiskey Dick issue for me, for sure. Mike, did you read any of it at all, or you just pick it up?
No, I won't read it.
You won't read it. And Joe, you didn't read it?
I didn't pick it up.
Oh, but you're up, Joe. What do you got for us?
Well, I'm surprised you guys. I was going to let you guys talk about this one, but I'll go ahead and bring it up.
Don't have at it, man.
Number 4, the final issue of this one. Great story in this. Batman drops the entire magistrate on top of him and everybody else. Like, drops the entire building. This was great because I really like this. We need eyes everywhere to stop crime. And then, like, there's always people that are like, well, I want my privacy. Well, okay, we'll just make the things invisible. Because what you don't know, one makes you a sucker and makes you happy at the same time. So this is good. And I love this. I love, and it proves something I always say, people always have that analogy because we obviously have a guy in here who's suffering from some sort of paranoid delusions. He believes in conspiracy theories and all this other stuff. And I always say, just because something's crazy, or what's the classic saying? You know what they say? If you do something over and over and over again and expect a different result, that's crazy. Or insane. Just because something's crazy, insane doesn't make it right or wrong at the end of the day, right? So, yeah, I liked this. I kind of felt that the crazy guy, was kind of justified in this because they were being spied on. Maybe not the way he thought, but nevertheless, he knew something fishy was going on. Also, the Red Hood story in this one. Who is the person in the alley? Who is it? One of the Batmans? Is it this? Is it that? I don't know. I didn't get all the tie-ins to Future State, so if you know, let us know in the comments below. Definitely.
I think they're probably just leaving it as a cliffhanger on that one.
More likely, if they're going to continue anything with the Future State, it's got to be more of this dark detective stuff because that's just the most interesting stuff that they're writing, pushing out there.
Yeah. How about you, Mike? What'd you think of Dark Detective?
I actually didn't care for it. I think it went downhill after the third issue or the second issue. But who is the one magistrate dude? The leader. Yeah,
Peacekeeper.
Yeah, no. They didn't really specify who it is. It's just a new character. They never really gave him a name or anything.
He might be dead now, anyhow.
Well, I doubt it because nobody died in comic books.
I'm ready to get back to normal. I think I'm over the whole Future State. That's why I didn't care for it. It was good at the beginning, but
yeah, I'm definitely not looking forward to reading any more of the new Batman, that Fox stuff at all. I'd rather read more of this kind of stuff if I had to. It kind of ended just kind of I left it on a cliffhanger for sure. But I think it's like I want more of that. I want to know what else is going on. I don't want to just leave it like that and go, okay, that's the end of the story.
All the Future State stuff, you either didn't get enough in the beginning or the middle was kind of convoluted or the endings were really abrupt and short. Again, and I've mentioned this before, I think a lot of this Future State was like testing a product. Like they just threw something there in the public just to kind of see if people would jump on board with this kind of stuff, listen to a little criticism, and then maybe kind of restructure and bring it back. Regardless, I'm glad it's not what I thought it was going to be. I'm super happy that I was wrong about Future State.
Yeah, I think it's just a lot. I'm sure DC did it too, but you look at the Marvel feature or Marvel Spotlight, there's throwing books out there, like you said, Joe, and seeing what sticks to the wall, see what people like, and go, okay, people like that. Okay, let's move forward with that one and drop these characters over here. Which, there's not a whole lot of financial commitment in there then either. You're only putting a few issues out. You go, okay, we lost a bit of money on that one, or that character's not nearly as popular. We're not out a crap ton of money. We're not printing 1 million copies of it, and so. Anybody else reading? I think you're up, Mike. What do you got? Because Joe talked about Dark Detective. What do you got, Mike? Huh?
Well, real quick.
Yeah.
Maestro War and Pax #2. I am enjoying this stuff. I'm so tired. This story. This one, Dr. Doom is meeting with the Pantheon. Who's writing this?
I think it's same guy is writing Immortal Hulk, isn't it?
Oh, it's Peter David. God damn it! And the way Doom's dialogue is, it's great. This is the Dr. Doom I want. But anyway, he meets up with longtime Hulk allies and sometimes foes, the Pantheon, to discuss a team up to take down the Maestro. The Pantheon actually goes to visit Maestro. They end up gassing him and kidnapping him. No action in this book whatsoever, but it still tells a good story. But yeah, this is Stashin' it.
Did you read that, Joe?
No, unfortunately I missed out on Maestro this week.
Anybody else still reading the Harley Quinn, the Batman White Knight? Or are the only one grabbing it?
When did that come out? This week?
Yeah. This is number 5. So this is continuing to be good. So we have, at the end of the last issue, Harley Quinn was tied up, and she was trying to. That Scarlet, trying to get her to kill that her partner to kill her, but he doesn't. He says, "I need to save her," and the Scarlet's like, "I was like a mom to you," and he's like, "Yeah, you were, but you took this path of being this evil person. I can't really follow you anymore. I need to protect Harley." So he ended up choosing Harley over his like nanny when he was growing up, and then there's a little backstory with Joker and Harley when he's in Arkham Asylum. And then they really talk about the dual personalities and how Harley Quinn does not want to be this criminal person anymore. She wants to be this mother. She wants to be this, but she's kind of drawn back to that criminal life because that's what she kind of excites her and like that. But Poison Ivy talks to her about that. You need to accept both sides. And she definitely makes a good comparison between, look what Bruce did. He tried to compartmentalize Batman for years, and look where it landed him, and he's in jail for it. And Joker kept his personality split. That was his ultimate demise. So she's trying to tell her, you need to be able to accept both sides and be able to find that happy medium that will give you both, that you won't go to either extreme, where you won't be this solely a mother and like that, but yet you still give in to kind of like your wild side a little bit. But at the end of the book, I think her name's Scarlet, ends up blowing up Harley Quinn's house when she's in there with her kids and Bud and Lou, her hyenas, and one of her kids is still inside. But the one hyena, Lou, ends up saving her son Jackie, but Lou ends up dying, I think, at the end of this book. One of her hyenas. So she's down.
Pick that up.
One hyena now, but so this is good. I like. Oh, Mike's getting all teary eyed.
You got the vapors there, young man.
Sean, I think Sean Murphy does a great job of taking this Batman stuff to a new direction with it. Because Bruce is in jail and all that stuff. Red Hood is the warden of the jail, so which is kind of weird because Bruce is trying to say, "Hey, I need to go talk to Harley. She's in danger." No, Bruce, you need to get your ass back to that cell. And then Bruce ends up taking Red Hood's helmet and bike and getting out and to try to save Harley. But it's still good. I'm still enjoying it. Nobody else picked that up this week, so nobody else can talk about it.
No, I missed it. I was enjoying it.
I always pick up both covers on that one. Any of this Batman White Knight, I'm always grabbing covers A and B. I don't know why. So. We got this, huh?
I said so much for that house. You keep buying.
Yep. But I'm only, I cut down my books I'm buying each week now, so I'm only going to one store, so don't have to worry about double dipping by mistake, So, we're just at an hour right now. Do we want to do lightning round, or is there any of the books you definitely want to talk about right now? Anything? No? Okay.
Mike, you got anything? Lightning round.
Hey!
Lightning round. Let's do it. Joe, you're up with lightning round.
All right, I'll go first. Mine's never really that quick, but we're going to head it up anyway.
Yep,
all
that's
right,
why I put you first.
Spider-Man. I brought this up for my book because, and as much as I love Mikey, I don't think he's right about this. So let us know in the chat. So we have a symbiote Spider-Man here. And over in the Knoll main storyline, we got a Spider-Man over there too. Are these two concurrent together? Is there something going on here that I don't understand? Because this is going on during the Knoll attack, and they're fighting Knoll not too far away. So it's not that far in the past. Also, we find out the Ebony Blade is probably more important to the Knoll storyline than we originally thought. So definitely a good read. Plus, I love it when they take random characters like Cosmos the dog and throw them in there. Collector shows up in here, and other just random characters out of nowhere that have probably been forgotten about. They get thrown into this story. It's a great one. It's a stash for me. Hey, have you ever heard of something called cognitive behavioral therapy before? Well, that's pretty much all Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man was this week. An internal monologue from Peter Parker about how his life is just jacked up. Literally page, panel of him talking about his friend, letting him down, being a villain, and how he thinks about life overall. And that's it. That's it. It's a blast. Still a blast, I should say. Crossover. This is fun. This is fun, and it gets me into more different comic books that I didn't know about. Again, Mikey kind of spoke up on this one. The particular sword that they're talking about from in here is from God Country, I think he said.
North and South. God Country.
That's it. Okay. So, yeah, that's right. I never read God Country, so I didn't know. So that's really cool to know. It might be something I might go check out later. But in this, the little girl that escaped the barrier wants to go back to the barrier thing, kind of confuses me a little bit, but whatever. It's still really cool to see these random characters that I know very little about show up to kind of do this. It allows me to do more research, and it kind of takes me actually out of the comic book and into a, like, okay, who are these characters? I need to know more. So it's a reason to read more comic books, really. I'll do that all day long. Something is Killing the Kids. Volume 1 is done. This thing is over with, and what's the ending? Well, our heroine here is going to go play Rowan. She's just going to go off on her own and be a hero by herself. But will the House of Slaughter of St. George allow this to happen? Hopefully there's a season 2 of this, and we'll find out. But other than that, the entire series was good. I wish there was more story to it, because it's mostly just panels and artwork in this with very little dialogue. So you kind of had to piece a lot of the story together yourself. But they didn't make it hard, so that was fun. And my stash of the week, Department of Truth. And this one is completely different than all the other ones. They kind of threw a curveball in this one and gave us, well, 2 origin stories in this one and very different artwork. So basically we got to find out that was the whole thing of Charlemagne, the big thing in Catholic and religion. But what if that entire thing didn't happen? Because if Charlemagne never happened, your concept of a calendar and time, right, how old everything is completely obscured and doesn't matter at this point. Because that's when all that stuff started. So it's not 2021 at this point. It would be something else. See, weird, right? So they kind of touched on that in here, and we found out why Lee Harvey Oswald got involved in the Department of Truth and why that kind of happened. Again, they changed the artwork in it, and I'm not a huge fan of that scratchy type artwork to begin with. This was more cartoony, but it told a really good story about an old lady who knew this because they're reading transcripts from an old Latin book. So they kind of had to change up the story to make sure to take you out of it. Regardless, I'm still enjoying Department of Truth, and this was a good read, and it really makes you think about how far back a conspiracy can really go and what makes a conspiracy. So, good stuff. Those are my hauls for the week. I'm all done. Less than 3 minutes.
Mike, what about you?
Hold on, I'm busy.
What are you busy doing?
Contemplating life over there?
All right, first up, Batman Superman #2. Love the whole Professor Pig stuff. This was great. Stashin it. Aquaman, complete opposite. This book was crap. All fucking. What Aqualast does is whine and bitch the whole fucking time. So that's a blast.
Sounds like somebody else on the show.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, sorry. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Mike, you looking surprised?
I don't
I'm
know.
the one that complains. I actually blast books.
Surprise hit, in my opinion, Superman House of L. This was great. A lot of characters thrown it at us. Wish there was more to it, but read this. That's a stash. And then I got a whole slew of books I haven't read yet. Symbiote Spider-Man, which does take place in the past. Right after the Secret Wars, it says it in the little thing in the beginning. Wolverine #10, Scumbag #5, Warcorns #2, Crossover #4, And Skulldigger and Skeleton Boy, issue number 6.
I like that cover. That's a cool cover.
Yeah, I read Crossover. That stuff, yeah, you talk about, Joe, it's kind of like weird how the story is going, trying to figure out what's the overall focus. I do like the fact that they are adding Valifax in there, the sword from the God Country. That's kind of cool. And they still have the little like Easter eggs in the background. You know, you look like the Hall of Justice there.
Oh yeah, it looks just like it. And every now and then you'll catch a superhero in the background, like a Batman arm or something like that. Yeah, they always got something. Or the Captain America shield's in that one.
Yeah, looks like Thanos' armor. It looks like Sentinel up there. So yeah, you get little Easter eggs like that. You know, they can't really do the full on character. You know, but I'm just still going to pick it up.
And I still don't know. And I'm sorry to interrupt, but I definitely want to know this from the chat. If you've read Crossover, are they kind of being satirical about the whole dropping hint things? Because, you know, that's a thing in Marvel, to drop hints and get comic book collectors and everybody engaged in the movies. Is Crossover doing it because they legitimately want you to play a game with them? Or do you think they're kind of being satirical about the whole comic book Easter egg thing and they're just kind of being outlandish about it, you know, kind of like tongue-to-cheek type of thing? I would really like to know what everybody thinks about that.
The show's not even over, and Mike's getting his TV ready. Look at that shit.
How do you know?
You putting the remote like right up here in the camera.
Oh, don't judge me.
Hit the Pornhub button. The quick access to Pornhub. Two Moons by Image Comics.
Oh, I
takes
read
place
that
in
too.
Civil War. Native American named Virgil. He's kind of like a gopher. Kind of, he's headed to this military base to get medical supplies and stuff like that, and he ends up running to an Irish nurse there. He ends up running to his dead grandfather too. Their dead grandfather talks to him on the bed, you know, but he actually has been dead for a while. One big dude turned into some kind of like critter. Almost remember the movie Critters that came out like in the 80s? He kind of looks like it. He gets shot.
Ball. Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't turn into a little ball, but I mean, his face definitely looks like a critter. He gets shot and he turns into this thing and ends up running off. I was really looking forward to this book, but it kind of fell flat for me. There he is right there. He got shot and turned into that monster. There's a dog next door I heard barking. I thought I heard something. Overall, it was kind of disappointment. I was really looking forward to it. Bruce Sand said her Two Moons was good. I think I did order issue 2 because I like to give at least 2 issues to see what's like.
Yeah, you got with these books in there. Yeah.
I do. Again, it's one of those historic books that has Civil War as a backdrop to it, so it does have that historic piece in an alternate kind of universe. So I definitely give that another shot. I did pick up House of L. I didn't get a chance to read that. Mike's saying it's good, so I'll probably hate it.
Probably.
Picked up Wolverine number 10. Get a chance to read that. And I think I got this just to complete the whole damn run. Legion of Superheroes number 2, Future State. Those are my books. I'm sticking to it.
I did pick up 2 other things this week, or last week, that I was going to share last week, but I didn't show up because I didn't feel like it. I picked up X-Men number 32, the 3rd appearance of Juggernaut.
Nice.
This thing's in nice condition, too. And X-Men number 40, only because it's the famed Frankenstein issue.
Should I show my other pickup? It's not comic book related. It's really related to this episode or not. I don't know if I want to show it. Should I show?
I don't know if we want to really see what you got from Bob's Sex Shop, man. I don't think we're the right channel for that.
You don't see. So, I'm not a huge gun guy, but I do, have a few guns. I did pick up a 223 this last week. Finally got it. Passed my background check. Ended up getting that, so I'm gonna take that out shooting this Sunday. So, in honor of episode 223, go shoot some 223s. I thought it'd be kind of cool to do similar to what Vince did. Take that rifle out and go shoot some of the bad comics this week at the range and video it and record it and
Fair
post
enough.
it on the channel or not. But anything else before we bounce out of here? Mike's already, he's kicked back. His belt buckle's undone, ready to receive.
I'm not even wearing pants, brother. You want me to prove it?
No. Then we'll get banned off here. So, with that, I think we're gonna go ahead and call it a night, huh? Everybody's kicked back in the chair.
Yeah,
I get it.
I
Go
got
for a walk.
I gotta try to make claws now.
Make claws now. All right. So again, too, real quick, the people who were in the live chat, where I'm doing a giveaway brought to you by Rogue City Comics. I'll end up picking. I got the people who did comment in the live chat, and I'll do a quick little giveaway on the Facebook page. So make sure you go check us out over there: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're all on those right there, and also make sure go over to Teespring. Got some cool shirts over there. And as always, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the notification. All right. Whether you blast it, whether you stash it, happy reading, and we'll catch you guys next week.